So the first thing we're going to do with this vegetarian chili is turn on the stove and get a couple of tablespoons of vegetable oil heating up. So we're going to start with the onions. We're going to chop a couple of onions. Just going to chop these. You can chop them as finely as you'd like. I like a little texture in with my chili, so I'm not going to chop them too fine, but you can chop them as finely as you would like. Okay, I'm going to give those a little stir. We're going to get some red peppers cut up and put in there as well. Okay, we're going to take the red pepper, and I chop these up by cutting off the ends. And then I cut down, you can cut it in totally in half, but I'm just going to open it up like this. And then I'm going to cut these pieces off so that you get rid of the seeds. Turn that over, and I'm going to make them about the same size as I made the onions. And once again, you can chop these as finely as you would like them. Like I said before, I like texture in my chili, so I leave them just a medium-sized chop. Okay, and then I take these ends and just make sure there's... Is there a dog? My dog is snoring. Oh my word, that's hysterical. Just take this edge. Okay, so that way I get the whole pepper and it's all about the same size. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add, let's see, how much cumin is this? A tablespoon of cumin. And then I've got a 1/4 cup of chili pepper. Okay, so we're going to let that cook for about 7 minutes. In the meantime, I'm going to chop up the garlic because that's going to go in as well. And I've got about 6 cloves of garlic. I think I have a little more actually, but and so I'm just going to okay. I'm going to leave that right there. And then in about 7 minutes, I'm going to add that garlic and let that soften up a little bit too. So all I'm trying to do here is soften these vegetables and get that, the flavor of the spices to come alive a little bit. And we'll be back shortly. Okay, so this has been cooking for about 7 minutes. The vegetables are nice and soft, so I'm going to add the garlic next. I know that looks like a lot of garlic, but there's a lot of taste in this recipe, and it will settle down after it starts. So I'm going to stir that all in, and I'm going to let that cook for about a minute until I can smell the garlic. Let that soften up a little bit. See that it's building up some nice rich flavor here. And I'm going to keep stirring this just a little bit so all of that garlic hits the pan and can soften up equally. A cup of water. Stir that up just a little bit. We're going to add some diced tomatoes. These are 28-ounce cans, and you can add half of 3/4 of this one. I just go ahead and add it all. There's enough flavor in here, it will handle that. And then I'm going to give that a good stir. I'm going to turn up the heat just a little bit to a little medium-high heat. And as soon as it starts bubbling, I'm going to turn it down to probably medium to medium-low and let it simmer for the next 25 to 30 minutes. And let that taste, all the flavor get all worked in there. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot about the peppers. So these are adobo peppers. These things are amazing. They're hot and they have a lot of flavor. And they come in cans in either the tomato can section or the ethnic food section of the grocery store. And they're just amazing. They're rich and smoky. And it says to add 2. That one I don't feel is big enough. So I'm going to add another one. And then when I get done, I usually add a little bit of that sauce. But this adds a lot of flavor. And what you want to do with this is just chop these up. It's a little slimy, but they add a rich, smoky taste. Quite a bit of heat, which will settle out as it ages. And then you put that in there too. And then I'm going to get a spoon and just add a little bit of that sauce that's in that can. These keep for quite a while in the refrigerator. There, we'll just leave that there. And give that a good stir. And now we're going to let this, as soon as I get this stirred in, we're going to let this cook for the next 20, 25, 30 minutes until I like the color of it. But right now it just needs to get cooking. So we'll be back. Okay, so it's been about 30 minutes. And the next step here is to put in the beans. And there are 4 cans, 15.5-ounce cans of beans here. I've rinsed them all, and I have pinto beans, black beans, and kidney beans. You can use a variety of any type of bean that you want. And so once you've drained them, after rinsing them, you're just going to put them in the chili. You're going to give them a good stir. And you're going to let these go uncovered for another 20 to 30 minutes. You're just trying to get rid of a little bit of this juice here. I'm probably going to let it go about 15 minutes because once you let it sit, it also absorbs some of that juice. So we'll be back. Okay, so we're here, and this has been cooking for about a half an hour. It's thickened up a little bit. It looks delicious. And the last thing we have to do is to put some cilantro in and then do a little tasting to make sure that we're happy with everything. Maybe add some salt and pepper. So we'll chop up, this is about a half a cup of cilantro. We want that to and I'm happy with that. So I'm going to scrape that right into the chili. And I'm going to stir that in. Make sure it gets all mixed in really well. Okay, and then I'm going to take a spoon and I'm going to test it for salt and pepper. Okay, so I think this needs just a little bit of salt. Put just a little bit in there. Stir it up again. And then the adobo peppers are absolutely delicious. They add a smoky taste. But when you get done with this, there's a heaviness to it that I could just let this go at this moment and it would be fine. But I want to brighten it up just a little bit. So I'm going to add a little bit of lime juice in here and just lighten that up just a bit so it doesn't have that such a heavy taste. It's still going to taste smoky and delicious, but this is just going to give it a little brightness. And I'm probably putting in probably a tablespoon of lime juice. And I stir that all up. And I'm going to taste that again. And it just picks it up just ever so slightly, and that, oh, it just goes bing in your mouth. Oh, it's delicious. So here's our chili. You can serve this with homemade nacho chips. You can serve it with sour cream, vegan cream, anything, cheese melted on the top, or just as it is. Enjoy.